I am Areej Altiti, occupational therapist. I will talk about gross and fine motor development. Gross motor skills are the ability to use the big muscles of the body for standing, walking, jumping, running, and more. We must start to learn these skills from the very beginning, baby. Learn from neck control to side turning, crawling, sitting, and standing. As the babies grow, they learn to walk, run, and jump. They develop body balance, muscle strength, and coordinations of the different body parts. Gross motor skills are affected by muscle tone, strength, and coordination. As GMFM, gross motor function measure, as I mentioned in researches. Gross motor skills development involve the large muscles in the arm, leg, and the trunk. Gross motor activities are important to everyday physical activities like walking, running, throwing, and kicking. Gross motor abilities also form the basic for the fine motor skills and related to body awareness, reaction speed, balance, and strength. In research movement assessment group for children, as I mentioned, MAPC provide a checklist and general physical activity guidelines for children's development milestone. Gross motor behavior we relate brown, supine, rolling, sitting, crawling, and walking. In clinical evidence-based research, children development motor skills, as I mentioned, BDMS, is a standardized measure developed to determine child development skills level, to identify skills that have or not have development, and then to provide advices for program planning. The authors state that skills can be used to diagnostic for children at risk of motor delay as well. About checklists, now I will present gross motor development from newborn to 2 months. The babies must turn his head to both sides while on back. Lifts heads and able to turn to both sides while on the abdomens. Kicking both legs and moving both arms equally while on the back. Gross motor development from 3 to 4 months. Rise head in lines with trunk when pulling to sit. Pushes up on forearms and turn head side to side while on abdomen. Tolerate times on abdomen well. Roll from abdomen to back. Gross motor development at 5 months. Rolls from back to abdomen. Bring feet to mouth lying on back. Pushes up on hand with arms extended while on abdomens. Pivot is a circle while on abdomens to each side. Gross motor development from 6 to 8 months. Sit alone. Reaches for toys to play in sitting. Catch itself with loose balance in sitting. Crawling on abdomen. Gross motor development from 9 to 11 months. Moves between lying down and sitting upright without help. Crawling on hand and knees. Pull to standing position with one foot leading. Walk with 2 hands held. These pictures summarize a gross motor development skill. Gross motor development from 11 to 12 months. Walk with one hand held. Stand alone from few seconds. This video showing the stages of gross motor development. Gross motor development from 13 to 14 months. Crawling upstairs. Stand up from the floor without support. Walk alone well. Squat and stand back up, holding onto support. About 15 to 18 months. Walks upstairs with hand or rise to help. Crawls down the stairs on abdomen's feet first. Can run through falls easy. Kick on a ball forward. Gross motor development at 2 years. Walks and runs well. Jump in place with both feet off ground. Walk up and down stairs alone. Kick a ball with either foot. At 3 years. Balance on one foot for a few seconds. Jump forward 10 to 24 inch. Catch a large balls. Rise a tricycle. Gross motor development at 4 years. Can run, jump and climb well. Is beginning to skip. Hop on one foot. Catch a ball. At 5 years. Skip on alternative feet and jump rope. Begin to skate and swim. Ride the bicycle with or without rings well. Climb well. This table summarizing the stages of gross motor development in children. This checklist and general physical activity guidelines for the children development milestone determine whether the child is progressing at the rates expected for his age. Every child is unique and develops skills at their own rate. The sequence of development is the same in all children, but the rate of development varies from child to child. Delay in gross motor development. If the delay observed in these patterns for more than 3 to 4 months, you must inform the rehabilitation doctors or the therapist to assess and early interventions. If a developmental delay is observed, it is advised to start training the child as soon as possible. Reasons for delay in gross motor skills development. Premature birth. Genetic disorder like Down syndrome. Neuromuscular disorder like cerebral palsy. Development problem like autism. Mental retardations. Scientific evidence for previous research. Several research have now found evidence of motor delays and impairment in children with developmental delay when they are compared to children with typical development. Empirical study using standardized measure of motor functions have documentation balance and get difficult. Slower speed times movement reduce posture stability and motor impairment. Role of occupational therapist to improve gross motor skills. Start with the assessment and then plan for the interventions. And individual plan be designed according to the needs of the child. Make exercising and functional activity for improve the gross motor skills. Focus would be the muscles function, strength and stability. Motor difficulties are one of the common sources of related for occupational therapists. Occupational therapists must focus on balance and coordination, strength and endurance, attentions and concentrations, hand functions, body awareness. In this video, I will show some activity to help children development gross motor skills. We walk, body jump, flexion, belly rolling, Ways to help children develop gross motor skills. According to test of gross motor development evidence research. First, find out the current level of the child. For example, if he sits with support, start training to sit without support. Second, demonstrate the activity or exercise and then ask him to follow. Motivate the children to perform the activity. Encourage him to use the skills he learned in everyday living, in the school or at homes or in your community. Now, this video shows some activity for motivations, gross motor skills. Ways to help infant and children development gross motor skills. Initially, help the child physically to perform the activity. For example, if the child isn't able to walk on a straight line, that's meaning balance problem. You may help him by providing minimal support. Gradually reduce the amount of physical help and train him to do it by himself. All children benefit from active movement of the large muscles in the arm, leg, and trunk. Exercise of these muscles promotes strength, endurance, posture, balance, and coordination. Activity for children to improve gross motor skills. In this video, some of this activity: walking or crawling or jumping over various surfaces, such as creating observe with pillows and blankets. Walking in straight lines, make balance beams, walk and hip, one leg standing. Activities for children to improve gross motor skills: sitting with support and exercising ball, ice skating, skateboarding, riding scooters, tricycle and bicycles, riding basketball, midline crossing activities, wheelbarrow walking for upper body strength, theraband activities, climbing on the dynamic ladders, jumping activity, yoga, dancing, running, and skipping, big balls games. And this video shows
is great for not only balance and coordination skills, but also problem-solving skills. And you can see that by this age, it's relatively easy to maintain balance on one foot while moving into the float. A quick tip for you parents who might have a kiddo who's shy around the pool or more timid during water play, start with an activity that they really prefer and want to do. This is really going to go a long way in motivating them for newer activities later on. Another fun and easy activity using the pool float is to add a ball and practice catching, and then throwing the ball inside the float. And this is a wonderful activity for hand-eye coordination skills. Speaking of hand-eye coordination skills, using this giant water squirter and aiming it at a moving ball is another wonderful way to work on this skill. It has the added benefit of using both hands together to capture the water, and while squirting the water, the resistance from the water strengthens muscles in both the arms and the hands. Next up is throwing a smaller ball at a target. Now, your little one may already be showing a hand dominance, and in this case, Kai prefers to use his right hand to throw, but it's still very important that they continue to feel comfortable using is great for not only balance and coordination skills, but also problem-solving skills. And you can see that by this age, it's relatively easy to maintain balance on one foot while moving into the float. A quick tip for you parents who might have a kiddo who's shy around the pool or more timid during water play, start with an activity that they really prefer and want to do. This is really going to go a long way in motivating them for newer activities later on. Another fun and easy activity using the pool float is to add a ball and practice catching, and then throwing the ball inside the float. And this is a wonderful activity for hand-eye coordination skills. Speaking of hand-eye coordination skills, using this giant water squirter and aiming it at a moving ball is another wonderful way to work on this skill. It has the added benefit of using both hands together to capture the water, and while squirting the water, the resistance from the water strengthens muscles in both the arms and the hands. Next up is throwing a smaller ball at a target. Now, your little one may already be showing a hand dominance, and in this case, Kai prefers to use his right hand to throw, but it's still very important that they continue to feel comfortable using
gross motor skills and fine motor skills. Activity of daily living depend on the gross motor skill as well as on the fine motor skill. Both of these skills help us to achieve our daily routine task. Fine motor skills development include reaching, grasping, and manipulation objects with your hands. Also involve visual motor skills, often referred to hand-eye coordinations. Visual motor skills are needed to coordinate hand, leg, and the rest of the body. The difference between gross motors and fine motor skills. Gross motor skills refer to the large muscles. Fine motor skills involve use the smaller muscle, such as grasping object, manipulations, or drawing. Babies and young children need a lot of playtimes and practical development these small muscles need for fine motor controls. Ways to help infant development fine motor skills. At 3 to 6 months, old learn to push up on their elbow in brown and able to push up in their hand. This activity are the beginning of the shoulder stability and arch development in the hands, which are used later on for strength and coordination activity, such as pitching a ball, breast activities such writings and pencils. As the development of visions and sense of touch is important to development of motor skill, children need to able to see and feel what their hand in order interact with or manipulation object. Put your face in front of the baby's face, sing or talk. Use bright color with the baby. Expose the baby to different visual environments. Changing the position of the holding baby, change lever so it can see world with his head upright. Now, using toy with a different colors and playing in different environment offer different visual experiences. Thank you.